Every day, you walk through a world full of invisible signals, tiny cues in posture, tone, and expression that tell you more than words ever could. Some people see these signals clearly, while others miss them entirely. What if you could become one of the people who not only notices these hidden messages but knows exactly how to respond, turning ordinary conversations into opportunities for trust, influence, and connection? In this audiobook, you'll discover the art of social intelligence, the secret skill that separates good communicators from extraordinary ones, and transforms your relationships, your career, and even your life. Chapter 1: The Invisible Power of Social Intelligence. Have you ever met someone who, without saying a word, instantly drew you in? Perhaps it was their calm presence, their warm smile, or the way they seemed to understand you before you even spoke. These people seem to move through life with ease, building connections, solving conflicts, and leaving a trail of admiration wherever they go. What's their secret? It isn't luck. It isn't charm. It is something far more powerful and lasting: social intelligence. Social intelligence is the ability to understand, navigate, and respond effectively to the social world around you. Unlike IQ, which measures cognitive ability, or emotional intelligence, which measures your relationship with your own feelings, social intelligence is about relationships with others. It's the art of reading people, sensing their emotions, interpreting their intentions, and responding in ways that build trust and connection. When you think about it, human history is shaped by social intelligence. Leaders who rallied nations, entrepreneurs who built empires, teachers who inspired generations, all of them relied not just on knowledge or skill, but on their ability to connect with people. And in everyday life, from a job interview to a first date, from negotiating with a client to comforting a friend, your success depends not only on what you know, but on how well you understand others. So here's the truth: social intelligence is not a talent reserved for a lucky few. It's a skill, one that anyone, yes, even you, can develop, refine, and master. Why social intelligence matters more than you think. Let's be honest, the modern world is more connected than ever before, yet more divided and distracted. People crave connection, yet often feel misunderstood or overlooked. In this environment, social intelligence is no longer optional, it's essential. Consider this. A brilliant employee may be overlooked for promotion if they can't work well with others. A talented entrepreneur may struggle to sell their vision if they cannot inspire trust. A loving partner may create distance instead of closeness if they fail to read emotional cues. In each case, it isn't intelligence or effort that makes the difference, it's the ability to connect. People don't remember everything you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. That feeling, the sense of being seen, heard, and understood, is the magic of social intelligence. The two sides of social intelligence. At its core, social intelligence has two essential components: social awareness and social facility. Social awareness is your ability to read the room. It's about picking up emotional cues, understanding body language, and noticing the unspoken signals that people send out every second. This is where empathy lives, seeing the world through someone else's eyes. Social facility is your ability to respond. It's about how you act on that awareness, how you communicate, influence, collaborate, and resolve conflict. You may notice someone is upset, but do you know how to comfort them? You may sense someone is skeptical, but can you win them over with your words? That's social facility in action. When you combine these two, awareness and facility, you unlock the full power of social intelligence. You don't just see people, you connect with them. The hidden superpower in everyday life. Imagine this: you walk into a meeting, and within moments you notice subtle tension in the room. Instead of diving into your presentation blindly, you pause, acknowledge the unease, and invite people to share their thoughts. Suddenly, the mood shifts, people feel valued, the tension eases, and the meeting becomes productive. Or think about a dinner conversation. Instead of interrupting or rushing to give advice, you lean in, listen deeply, and respond thoughtfully. The other person feels safe, respected, and understood. That one moment strengthens a relationship that could last a lifetime. These examples may seem small, but they are life-changing. Over time, social intelligence compounds. It opens doors, builds bridges, and creates opportunities that raw intelligence alone could never achieve. The good news: you can learn it. Here's the encouraging part: you don't need to be born with extraordinary charisma to be socially intelligent. Social intelligence is not a fixed trait, it is a skill you can practice. Every conversation, every meeting, every interaction is a chance to improve. The key is awareness plus intention. Once you know what to look for, once you train yourself to notice subtle cues, to listen actively, to respond thoughtfully, you'll find that people start opening up to you, trusting you, and following your lead. This audiobook is your guide to that transformation. Together, we'll explore how to master first impressions, decode body language, listen with empathy, build rapport, navigate conflict, and even apply social intelligence in the digital world. Each chapter is filled with insights, practical tools, and motivational lessons that will help you become someone others naturally respect, trust, and remember. Think of social intelligence as the invisible power that shapes your life. You already possess it in some form. It's in your ability to notice a friend's smile, to sense when a colleague is stressed, or to comfort a loved one without words. But with practice, you can sharpen this gift until it becomes second nature. From this point forward, I invite you to see every interaction as an opportunity to grow. Whether it's with a stranger at a coffee shop or a close family member, ask yourself, what are they feeling? What do they need? How can I respond in a way that brings us closer? This mindset alone will set you apart. Chapter 2: The Science of First Impressions. They say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And it's true. Within seconds of meeting someone, long before you've shared your story, people have already formed an opinion about you, your trustworthiness, your confidence, even your intelligence. The question is, will you let those first few seconds happen by accident, or will you master them with intention? Why first impressions matter so much. Let's imagine two scenarios. In the first, you walk into a job interview. You're distracted, fiddling with your phone, your shoulders slouched. The interviewer greets you, but you respond half-heartedly, your eyes darting around the room. Without realizing it, you've already signaled uncertainty, disinterest, and maybe even incompetence. The interview hasn't even started, but the outcome has already been tilted against you. Now imagine the second scenario. You enter with a calm smile, your posture upright, eyes meeting theirs with warmth and respect. You greet them clearly and confidently. Before a single question is asked, you've communicated assurance, presence, and reliability. The interview may still be challenging, but you've given yourself a powerful head start. This is the science of first impressions. Humans are wired to make snap judgments. Evolution demanded it. Our ancestors needed to know, in an instant, whether a stranger was a friend or a threat. Though the world has changed, our brains haven't. We still size up people within moments, often without even realizing it. The 4 pillars of first impressions. When people meet you, they unconsciously evaluate 4 things. Appearance, not about expensive clothes or perfect looks, but about effort, neatness, and the signals you send. Do you appear approachable? Do you look like you care? Your appearance is the packaging of your presence. Body language, before your words register, your posture, gestures, and movements are speaking volumes. A straight back, open stance, and relaxed gestures show confidence and openness. Crossed arms, slouched shoulders, or restless fidgeting whisper insecurity or defensiveness. Tone of voice, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. A warm, clear, and steady tone draws people in. A rushed, monotone, or uncertain voice pushes them away. The voice carries emotion, and people hear your confidence before they even process your words. Eye contact, this is one of the strongest trust signals we have. Too little eye contact, and you seem untrustworthy or disengaged. Too much, and you risk appearing aggressive. Balanced, natural eye contact creates connection, showing you are present and sincere. These 4 pillars, appearance, body language, tone, and eye contact, form the foundation of every first impression. Master them, and you can set the stage for success in any interaction. The silent language of confidence. Confidence is magnetic. But here's the secret, you don't need to feel confident to look confident. Small physical adjustments can change how others see you, and even how you feel inside. Stand tall, with your shoulders back. This posture not only projects assurance but also signals to your brain that you are ready. Smile, not a forced grin, but a relaxed, genuine smile that softens your presence and puts others at ease. Slow down. Nervous people rush. Confident people take their time. Whether walking into a room or answering a question, pace yourself. By practicing these small shifts, you create the impression of composure. Over time, these outward signals reinforce your inner confidence. The role of authenticity. Now, a word of caution, first impressions are not about creating a mask. People have sharp instincts. If you fake interest, fake warmth, or fake confidence, they'll sense the mismatch. Social intelligence is about aligning your presence with authenticity. So instead of pretending, focus on intention. Ask yourself, what do I want this person to feel? What energy do I want to bring into this space? When your actions match your intention, you don't have to fake anything, it flows naturally. Turning first impressions into lasting impressions. A great first impression opens the door, but what keeps it open is consistency. Imagine meeting someone who greets you warmly, but moments later becomes distracted, rude, or dismissive. The initial spark fades instantly. That's why your goal is not just to impress, but to connect. Here's a simple formula: curiosity plus respect. Curiosity means you show genuine interest in the other person. You ask thoughtful questions, listen to their answers, and show that you value their perspective. Respect means you honor their time, their presence, and their individuality. Even small gestures, remembering their name, giving them your full attention, acknowledging their input, leave a lasting impact. People may forget your words, but they will not forget the feeling of being respected and valued. A practical exercise. The next time you meet someone new, whether at work, in a social setting, or even a casual encounter, practice this. Pause for 1 second before greeting them. This moment grounds you. Make eye contact and smile gently. Speak their name clearly, if you know it, and offer a warm greeting. Ask one sincere question about them, and listen without distraction. This simple 4-step process transforms ordinary interactions into memorable ones. First impressions are not about perfection. They're about presence. Every time you enter a room, shake a hand, or start a conversation, you're sending a message: I see you. I respect you. I'm here with you. That's the essence of social intelligence in action. From now on, don't leave first impressions to chance. Approach them with intention, with authenticity, and with the knowledge that those first few seconds can open doors to opportunities you never imagined. Chapter 3: The Language of the Unspoken, Mastering Body Language. People may lie with their words, but their bodies often tell the truth. Every raised eyebrow, every subtle shift of posture, every flicker of a smile carries hidden messages. The question is, are you listening? Mastering body language is like learning a secret code that gives you insight into people's thoughts and feelings, even when they're trying to hide them. The power of the unspoken. Think about a time when someone said, "I'm fine," but their slouched shoulders, downcast eyes, and sigh told you otherwise. Or when someone walked into a room with a spring in their step, and you knew instantly they were excited before they even spoke. This is the invisible layer of communication that surrounds us every day. Research suggests that up to 70% of communication is nonverbal. That means words are just the surface, the deeper truth is revealed in tone, posture, gestures, and expressions. If you can read this unspoken language, you gain a powerful advantage in every interaction. Reading the basics. Body language can be complex, but let's start with the fundamentals. Posture. Upright posture signals confidence and engagement. Slouching, on the other hand, suggests disinterest, fatigue, or insecurity. Arms and hands. Crossed arms often show defensiveness or discomfort, while open hands and relaxed gestures indicate openness and trust. Legs and feet. Where someone's feet point often reveals where their attention lies. If their feet are angled toward the door, they may want to leave. Facial expressions. A genuine smile engages not just the mouth but the eyes. Micro-expressions, fleeting flashes of emotion, reveal what someone truly feels before they can mask it. Eye contact. Balanced eye contact shows interest and confidence. Too little may signal insecurity or avoidance, too much can feel aggressive. These signals don't exist in isolation. True mastery comes from reading them in clusters, when several cues align to tell a story. Micro-expressions, the truth in a split second. Micro-expressions are tiny, involuntary facial expressions that flash across the face for less than a second. They reveal emotions people may want to conceal: anger, fear, sadness, or joy. For example, someone might smile and say they're happy, but if a flicker of sadness crosses their eyes, you know there's more beneath the surface. Spotting these micro-moments takes practice, but once you do, you'll never look at conversations the same way again. The mirror effect. Here's a fascinating aspect of body language: people often mirror each other unconsciously. When two people are in sync, their posture, gestures, and even breathing patterns begin to align. This mirroring is a sign of rapport. It shows connection and trust. You can use this consciously. By subtly mirroring someone's posture or tone, you create a sense of harmony and understanding. But be careful, don't mimic too closely, or it feels forced. The goal is natural alignment, not imitation. Responding with your body. Reading body language is only half the story. The other half is using your own body to send the right signals. Open your stance. Stand or sit with uncrossed arms and shoulders relaxed. This shows you are approachable. Lean slightly forward. It signals attentiveness and engagement. Use gestures. Natural hand movements while speaking make your communication more dynamic and trustworthy. Match your face to your words. If you say you're excited but look bored, people will believe your face, not your words. Your body is always speaking. Make sure it tells the story you want others to hear. Body language across cultures. One important note: body language is influenced by culture. For example, direct eye contact is considered respectful in many Western cultures but may be seen as disrespectful in some Asian cultures. A gesture that means, "okay," in one country might be offensive in another. Social intelligence means not just reading universal cues, but also staying aware of cultural differences. Always observe the norms of the environment you're in, and when in doubt, lean on warmth and respect. They translate everywhere. A practical exercise. Try this simple activity the next time you're in a public space. Sit quietly and observe people without listening to their words. Notice their posture, gestures, and facial expressions. Ask yourself, what might they be feeling? Where is their attention? Are they open or closed off? With practice, you'll start noticing patterns you once overlooked. Conversations will feel richer, and your ability to respond thoughtfully will grow. Words may carry information, but body language carries emotion. When you learn to read and respond to this silent language, you unlock deeper levels of connection. You begin to see not just what people say, but who they truly are in that moment. So the next time you speak with someone, don't just listen to their words, watch their face, their hands, their posture. Pay attention to the silence between the sentences. That's where the truth often hides. Chapter 4: Emotional Awareness, Tuning into the Hidden Frequencies. Every person you meet is broadcasting emotions like invisible radio waves. Some signals are loud and clear, others are subtle whispers hidden beneath words and smiles. The secret to powerful social intelligence lies in tuning into these hidden frequencies, knowing not just what people say, but how they feel. The heart of emotional awareness. At its core, emotional awareness is the ability to recognize emotions in yourself and others. It's like having a finely tuned antenna that picks up on the slightest shifts in mood, tone, or energy. When you're emotionally aware, you don't just react to situations blindly, you respond with empathy and wisdom. Think about the last time you walked into a room and instantly felt the atmosphere, whether tense, joyful, or somber, before anyone said a word. That's emotional awareness at work. It's your social radar, guiding you through human interaction. The two sides, internal and external awareness. Internal emotional awareness, this is knowing your own feelings. Are you anxious? Excited? Frustrated? Many people rush through life without pausing to label their emotions. But when you name your feelings, you reclaim control over them. I feel nervous is very different from simply drowning in nervousness. Awareness creates choice. External emotional awareness, this is reading emotions in others. It's recognizing when someone's "I'm fine" masks disappointment, or when their quick smile hides frustration. It's seeing beyond the words into the emotional truth. When you master both, you create a double advantage: you understand yourself, and you understand others. That's the foundation of empathy. Emotions as messengers. Emotions are not problems to be solved, they are messages to be understood. Anger says, "Something feels unfair." Sadness says, "I've lost something important." Fear says, "I sense danger." Joy says, "This aligns with me." When you start treating emotions as signals rather than obstacles, you gain clarity. Instead of judging others for being too emotional, you ask, what is their emotion telling me? What do they need right now? The art of emotional labeling. One of the most powerful tools of emotional awareness is labeling. Research shows that simply putting feelings into words reduces their intensity. Imagine someone is upset, and you say, "It seems like you're frustrated." That simple acknowledgement often brings relief because it shows they've been seen. Here's the key: you don't have to be perfectly accurate. Even if you guess wrong, the act of trying shows care. They might correct you, "I'm not frustrated, I'm actually disappointed," but now they've opened up, and connection deepens. Emotional triggers and control. Awareness also means noticing your triggers. Maybe criticism makes you defensive, or silence makes you anxious. When you know your triggers, you can pause instead of reacting impulsively. This pause is power. Instead of snapping back, you breathe. Instead of shutting down, you ask a question. This ability to manage your own emotions not only calms you but also influences those around you. Emotional control is contagious. When you stay grounded, others often mirror that stability. Listening beyond words. To tune into emotions, listen beyond the literal meaning of words. Pay attention to tone, pace, and emphasis. Someone saying, "It's fine," quickly and sharply does not mean the same as a slow, soft, "It's fine." Also, watch for mismatches. If the words say, "yes," but the body says, no, trust the nonverbal signal. Socially intelligent people catch these inconsistencies and respond gently, rather than ignoring them. Empathy in action. Emotional awareness leads to empathy, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Empathy doesn't mean you have to feel exactly what they feel. It means you imagine their perspective and respond with understanding. For example, if a colleague seems distant after a meeting, you might say, "I noticed you were quieter than usual, how are you feeling?" That small act of noticing can open doors to trust and deeper connection. A practical exercise. Try the check-in pause. 3 times a day, pause for a moment and ask yourself 2 questions. What am I feeling right now? What might the people around me be feeling right now? By practicing this regularly, you train your brain to notice emotions automatically. Over time, emotional awareness becomes second nature. Emotional awareness is like adjusting the volume on a radio, you learn to hear the subtle notes others miss. When you recognize emotions in yourself, you gain control. When you recognize them in others, you gain connection. Together, these create the foundation of true social intelligence. So the next time you're with someone, don't just hear their words. Listen to their tone, watch their eyes, feel the energy they bring. Ask yourself, what frequency are they broadcasting? When you can tune in, you'll know how to respond with wisdom, empathy, and heart. Chapter 5, The Art of Listening Deeply. Most people think they're good listeners. In reality, most of us are only waiting for our turn to speak. We nod politely, give the occasional hum, but inside, our mind is already crafting a response, an argument, or a story of our own. Deep listening, the kind that makes people feel truly heard, is rare. And because it's rare, it's powerful. Master this art, and you'll transform not just conversations, but relationships. Why listening is more powerful than speaking. Here's the paradox of communication: people often believe that great conversationalists are great talkers. But in truth, the most magnetic people are great listeners. Think of the friend who always makes you feel lighter after talking with them. Chances are, it's not because of the advice they gave, it's because they listened without judgment, without rushing, and with genuine presence. Deep listening creates trust. It says, I value you. I see you. What you say matters. And trust is the foundation of every strong connection. The 3 levels of listening. There are 3 levels at which people listen. Which one do you usually practice? Level 1, Internal Listening. At this level, your focus is on yourself. You're listening, but mostly filtering through your own thoughts. Someone tells you about their stressful day, and you're already thinking about how it compares to your own. Level 2, Focused Listening. Here, your attention shifts outward. You're fully present, making eye contact, nodding, and following their words closely. You're not just hearing, you're listening. Level 3, Global Listening. This is the highest level. Not only are you focused on their words, but you're also noticing tone, pace, emotions, and body language. You're tuned into what's said, what's unsaid, and the energy behind it. Great listeners aim for level 3. They engage not just with ears, but with eyes, heart, and intuition. The golden silence. One of the most underrated tools in listening is silence. Most people are uncomfortable with pauses in conversation, so they rush to fill the gap. But silence gives space for depth. Often, when someone finishes speaking and you remain quiet for just a few seconds, they reveal what's really on their mind. Try this the next time someone shares something important. Instead of jumping in with advice or a story, wait. Let the silence do the work. You'll be surprised at how much more people open up. Barriers to deep listening. To master listening, you must first recognize what gets in the way. Common barriers include distraction, glancing at your phone, checking the clock, or letting your mind wander. Judgment, deciding whether you agree or disagree before they've finished. Problem-solving mode, jumping in with solutions instead of first validating feelings. Hijacking the story, turning the spotlight back to yourself. That happened to me too, let me tell you. These habits don't just interrupt conversations, they erode trust. Techniques for listening deeply. Be fully present, put away distractions. Face the person. Make eye contact. Let your body show that you're there with them. Reflect and paraphrase, repeat back the essence of what they said. For example, so what I hear is that you're feeling overwhelmed at work. This shows understanding and invites correction if needed. Ask open-ended questions. Instead of, did that upset you? Try, how did that make you feel? Open questions invite depth. Validate emotions. You don't have to agree, but you can acknowledge, I can see why that would be frustrating. Validation creates emotional safety. Listening as a gift. When you listen deeply, you give people one of the rarest gifts, the gift of being understood. In a world full of noise, this gift is priceless. Many conflicts, misunderstandings, and broken relationships could be healed if people simply listened with presence and empathy. Listening doesn't just connect you to others, it elevates you as well. You learn more, see more, and grow more when you listen than when you speak. A practical exercise. Pick one conversation today to practice deep listening. During that conversation, eliminate distractions, put your phone face down. Maintain gentle, natural eye contact. Focus on their words, but also notice tone and body language. Paraphrase once, validate once, and allow at least one silence. Notice how the other person responds. Chances are, they'll feel more open, more comfortable, and more connected to you than before. Listening deeply is not about hearing every word, it's about hearing the person behind the words. When you listen in this way, you become someone people trust, someone people turn to, someone who enriches every room they enter. So the next time you sit with a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger, remember, your silence, your presence, and your genuine attention may speak louder than any words you could say. Chapter 6: Conflict Management, Turning Tension into Understanding. Imagine this. You're in a heated argument, voices raised, emotions running high, and the atmosphere thick with tension. At that moment, most people instinctively fight back or shut down. But what if conflict wasn't something to fear or avoid? What if it was actually an opportunity, a doorway into deeper understanding, stronger relationships, and personal growth. The truth is, conflict is inevitable, but how we handle it defines whether it becomes destructive or transformative. Conflict management is one of the most vital aspects of social intelligence. Instead of seeing it as a battlefield, think of it as a bridge-building exercise. Every disagreement is a chance to understand another perspective, sharpen communication skills, and practice emotional balance. The first principle of managing conflict is listening beyond words. Most of us hear arguments as attacks. We prepare our defense before the other person even finishes speaking. But when you truly listen, seeking to understand what's beneath the frustration, you often uncover unmet needs, unspoken fears, or misunderstood intentions. For example, when a colleague says, "You never listen to my ideas," the deeper meaning might not be about one conversation but about a long-standing feeling of being undervalued. The second principle is controlling your emotional triggers. In conflict, emotions can escalate quickly, turning minor disagreements into explosive battles. Socially intelligent individuals learn to pause, breathe, and respond rather than react. Something as simple as saying, "I hear you, let's take a moment to think this through," can prevent a situation from spiraling. Third, practice finding common ground. Conflict often highlights differences, but hidden beneath every disagreement is a shared goal, whether it's mutual respect, efficiency at work, or harmony in relationships. By shifting focus from what separates you to what unites you, solutions appear more naturally. Consider this example: two co-workers argue about how to approach a project. One values speed, the other values quality. Instead of seeing these as opposing forces, a socially intelligent mediator might frame it as a complementary balance, fast results paired with reliable standards. Suddenly, what looked like conflict becomes collaboration. Another powerful tool in conflict management is the language of empathy. Phrases like, "I understand how that must have felt," or "I see your point, even if I don't fully agree," disarm defensiveness and invite openness. It doesn't mean you're surrendering your perspective, but it shows respect for the other person's experience. Social intelligence also involves knowing when to step away. Not every battle is worth fighting in the heat of the moment. Sometimes, postponing the discussion until emotions cool down is the most intelligent choice. But here's the key: avoidance and postponement are not the same. Avoidance ignores the problem, while postponement creates space for thoughtful resolution. When practiced correctly, conflict resolution can even strengthen trust. Think about it: if someone sees that disagreements with you lead to understanding rather than hostility, they'll feel safer expressing themselves honestly. That level of psychological safety is the foundation of healthy relationships, personal and professional alike. The socially intelligent person doesn't aim to win arguments. Instead, they aim to preserve dignity, respect perspectives, and foster solutions that strengthen the relationship. This is why conflict, when navigated with wisdom, becomes not a source of division but a catalyst for deeper connection. So, next time you face a conflict, remember, it's not about the fight, it's about the opportunity hidden within it. Conflict is a mirror. It shows you your emotional patterns and relationship dynamics. This week, instead of avoiding tension or rushing to defend yourself, lean into curiosity. Ask one extra question, listen one layer deeper, and seek the common ground you might be missing. Every conflict you resolve wisely makes you more powerful in the art of social intelligence. Chapter 7: The Power of Storytelling in Social Intelligence. Imagine sitting by a fire, surrounded by people who lean closer as you begin to speak. Every word you share captures their imagination, pulling them into a world of images, emotions, and meaning. This isn't just entertainment, this is the art of storytelling. And storytelling, when mastered, becomes one of the most powerful tools of social intelligence. Human beings are wired for stories. Long before we had books, podcasts, or audiobooks, we had voices echoing in caves, in marketplaces, in villages. Storytelling was how we shared knowledge, values, and survival tips. Even today, the stories we tell shape how others perceive us, connect with us, and remember us. In fact, a well-told story often leaves a stronger impression than facts or arguments ever could. So how does storytelling connect to social intelligence? Quite simply, it allows you to read and respond to people through narrative. When you share a story, you're not just giving information, you're giving emotion, context, and a piece of yourself. A story can dissolve walls between strangers, inspire trust, and spark collaboration. Why stories matter in human connection. Let's think about a situation. You're in a meeting, trying to persuade your team to support your idea. You could present a list of statistics and logic. Or, you could tell a short story about a customer who struggled, and how your solution transformed their experience. The second option activates empathy, engages imagination, and builds a bridge of shared emotion. Stories matter because they create empathy. When we hear a story, we step into another's shoes. Our brain literally simulates the experience. Make messages memorable. Facts fade quickly, but stories stick. Build credibility. A story reveals not only your ideas but also your values and intentions. Invite collaboration. People feel part of something bigger when they connect through a shared narrative. The anatomy of a socially intelligent story. A story doesn't have to be long or dramatic to be powerful. But it does need 3 key ingredients. A relatable character. Someone your listener can connect with, whether it's you, a client, or even a fictional figure. A challenge. Every good story has tension. What obstacle needed to be overcome? A transformation. How did things change? What was learned? What was gained? For example, instead of saying, "Our program increases productivity," you might say, "Last year, Sarah felt like she was drowning in tasks. After using this system for a month, she finished her work in half the time and had evenings free for her family." Which one connects more deeply? Storytelling as active listening. Here's something people often forget: storytelling isn't just about talking. It's also about listening. When you pay attention to the stories others tell, you learn what matters to them, their fears, their dreams, their motivations. Responding with your own story that resonates with theirs creates powerful rapport. For instance, if a colleague shares how overwhelmed they are by deadlines, you could respond with empathy and a personal story of how you once navigated similar stress, offering encouragement instead of judgment. Suddenly, you're not just coworkers, your fellow travelers on the same human journey. Using storytelling to influence and inspire. Great leaders, teachers, and even parents use storytelling to guide behavior and inspire action. Think about historical speeches. They weren't just facts and bullet points, they were stories of vision, struggle, and triumph. If you want to influence others, share stories that align with their values. Use metaphors and imagery to simplify complex ideas. Show vulnerability. People connect more with imperfection than perfection. Storytelling in everyday life. You don't need to be on a stage to use storytelling. You can practice every day. At dinner, instead of saying, "Work was fine," share one small story from your day. In conversations, replace abstract statements with personal examples. When networking, share a story that shows who you are rather than listing your resume. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You'll notice that people start leaning in, remembering your words, and opening up with their own stories in return. The hidden gift of storytelling. There's one final piece to remember: storytelling is not about manipulation, it's about connection. When you tell a story, you are saying to someone, "Here is a piece of me. Do you see yourself in it?" That shared recognition is where social intelligence blossoms. So, as you move forward, don't just collect facts or rehearse arguments. Collect stories. Share them with honesty and empathy. And when others share theirs, listen closely. Because in those stories, you'll find not just information, but the beating heart of human connection. As you finish this chapter, I challenge you to share one story today, something small but meaningful. Maybe it's about a lesson you learned, a funny moment from your past, or a challenge you overcame. Notice how people respond. Notice how their eyes light up, how they lean closer, how they share something in return. That is social intelligence in action. That is the power of storytelling. Chapter 8: Building Trust and Credibility Through Social Intelligence. Hook. Trust is the quiet superpower. It doesn't shout. It doesn't sparkle. It compounds, slowly, invisibly, until one day it moves mountains for you. People return your calls, open doors, share information, and take risks on your word alone. If charisma gets you in the room, trust keeps you there. And credibility? That's the proof that your trust isn't luck, it's earned. Why trust beats talent, over time. Talent impresses. Trust endures. When stakes are high, people don't choose the flashiest option, they choose the safest pair of hands. In friendships, trust becomes emotional safety; in teams, it becomes psychological safety; in leadership, it becomes moral authority. When others believe you're competent, consistent, and caring, you're free to influence without force. Social intelligence turns this from a vague ideal into a repeatable practice. You learn what humans watch for, signals of reliability, congruence, and goodwill, and you deliver those signals on purpose, not by accident. The 4 pillars of credibility. Think of credibility as a table supported by 4 legs. Lose any one, and the table wobbles; lose 2, and it collapses. Competence: can you do it? Your skills, knowledge, and judgment. You signal competence by preparing, simplifying complexity without dumbing it down, and being humble about limits. Here's what I know, here's what I'm still validating. Reliability, will you do it? The rhythm of your follow-through. Reliability is built on micro-commitments. If you say, I'll send it by 3, do it by 2:50, or give an early heads up if things slip. Integrity, should you do it? Your moral alignment. It's the congruence between your values, your words, and your behavior, especially when no one is watching and when it costs you. Warmth, benevolence, do you care about me? People judge whether you prioritize their interests alongside your own. Warmth is conveyed through empathy, transparency, and fair-minded choices. Credibility isn't a personality trait, it's a pattern. Anyone can practice these 4 pillars daily. The congruence test, say, see, same. A simple formula to become predictably trustworthy. Say what you will do, clear promise. Let others see progress, visible checkpoints. Keep it the same over time, consistency under pressure. Congruence quiets anxiety. The human brain scans for mismatch. Bright words paired with shaky delivery, big promises paired with thin results. When your words, tone, timing, and actions align, anxiety turns into assurance. Trust signals you can control today. Time discipline, arrive a little early, end on time, send summaries quickly. Name plus memory, remember details people share, reflect them back accurately. Clarity up front, define success, scope, and limits before you begin. Early bad news alerts, flagging this now so we can adjust before it's urgent. Confidentiality by default, never trade in gossip, it's a fast credibility leak. Receipts for promises, short written recap after agreements, no legalese, just clarity. Each is small, together, they form your reputation. Scripts for instant credibility. Use these word patterns to transmit warmth and competence without waffle. Scope and limits, here's what I can commit to this week. For X and Y, I'll confirm by Friday at 4 p.m. Uncertainty without fragility, I don't have that number yet. I'll verify with source A, and if that fails, with source B. I'll report back by noon. Early risk call out, if we keep the deadline, quality will drop, if we keep quality, timeline moves by 48 hours. Which trade-off do you prefer? Repair opener, I missed the mark. I'm not going to defend it. Here's the impact I see, and here's my plan to make it right. Notice the pattern, clear ownership, clear timeline, clear next step. The credibility bank, and its interest rate. Treat trust like a bank account. Every kept promise is a deposit, every miss is a withdrawal. Large withdrawals require not just repayment, fixing the problem, but interest, extra effort plus stronger safeguards. High-interest repayments look like acknowledgement without excuses, name the impact on the other person first. Specific amends, replace the cost you created, time, money, peace of mind. Process change, show the new system that prevents repeat mistakes. Time, then let consistency do the slow work of healing. People forgive errors faster than they forgive evasiveness. Psychological safety, trust at group scale. For teams and families, safety is the oxygen of candor. You create it by inviting disconfirming opinions. What am I missing? Rewarding early red flags. Praise the messenger who brings bad news early. Normalizing iteration. First draft is for learning. Decoupling respect from agreement. I can disagree and still be all in. When people feel safe, they share information sooner, which protects outcomes and relationships. The 5 credibility killers. Watch for these. Overpromising masked as optimism. Chronic lateness reframed as busy. Gossip disguised as context. Inconsistent warmth, friendly when you need something, distant otherwise. Defensiveness that blocks learning. Replace each with its antidote. Right-sizing promises, time integrity, confidentiality, steady kindness, and curiosity. Building trust online. Yes, it's different. Digital spaces strip away many nonverbal cues, so you must over-communicate clarity and tone. Use short paragraphs and explicit bullets for decisions and next steps. Add tone signposts, quick heads up, celebrating this win, concern below. Confirm receipt and understanding, don't assume silence means alignment. In conflict, switch to voice or video quickly, latency amplifies misunderstanding. Document agreements in one visible place. Version chaos is credibility erosion. Your digital footprint is your portable reputation. Curate it with the same care you give to in-person presence. From friendly to trusted, the latter. Pleasant, you're likable and easy to talk to. Helpful, you add small, reliable value. Dependable, people plan around your word. Advisor, they seek your judgment on consequential choices. Confidant, they trust you with sensitive truths. Climbing the ladder requires patience. Skip a rung, and weight will snap you back down. A 7-day trust sprint, practice plan. Day 1, Promises Audit. List every open promise, close or renegotiate 2 today. Day 2, Radical Clarity. Before starting anything, write a 3-line brief, goal, boundary, deadline. Share it. Day 3, Early Warning. Proactively flag one risk with a mitigation plan. Day 4, Reliability Reps. Pick 2 tiny commitments, send a link, confirm a time. Deliver early. Day 5, Confidentiality. Decline one gossip invitation with grace. Day 6, Repair Move. Apologize for a small lapse you've let linger, fix it. Day 7, Reflection. Ask 2 people, what's one way I could be more reliable to you? Listen, thank, implement one change. Repeat the sprint monthly. Credibility loves cadence. Trust in hard moments, where it really counts. Anyone can look credible on a sunny day. What sets you apart is storm behavior. Hold your shape, calm voice, slower pace, shorter sentences. Prioritize people first, then problems. Are you okay? Here's how we'll stabilize this. Share the frame. The constraint is X, our levers are A, B, C. Make a visible sacrifice, take an unfair share of the burden when it helps the whole. Under pressure, trust either fractures or forges. Your response decides which. Credibility isn't built in a speech, it's built in a schedule. Not in grand gestures, but in quiet, repeated, almost boring acts of follow-through. Be the person whose name relaxes shoulders when it appears on a calendar invite. Be the voice that steadies a room. In time, your reputation will walk ahead of you, opening doors you haven't even knocked on yet. Chapter 9: Building a Legacy Through Social Intelligence. Every conversation, every relationship, and every small act of connection leaves behind something larger than the moment itself. This is the hidden power of social intelligence. It doesn't only change how you navigate the present, it creates ripples that influence your future and the legacy you leave for others. Imagine a pebble tossed into a calm lake. The circles spread farther and farther, touching areas you never imagined. Your words, your empathy, and your ability to respond with awareness act the same way in people's lives. The hook here is simple: people may forget the details of what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And how you make others feel becomes the essence of your social legacy. So, what does it mean to build a legacy through social intelligence? It means being intentional about your interactions. Each day, you engage in dozens of small exchanges, with colleagues, strangers, family members, friends. Some may seem ordinary, but collectively, they form the story of how people experience you. Do they walk away feeling uplifted, seen, and respected, or diminished, ignored, or judged? Think of leaders who have left lasting impressions. Nelson Mandela, for example, wasn't remembered only for political strategy. He was remembered for how he listened with genuine interest, even to those who opposed him. Oprah Winfrey is celebrated not just for media success but for her deep ability to make anyone in her presence feel valued. These are legacies born from social intelligence. You may not aspire to global influence, but you have the same opportunity to leave lasting impressions in your own world. A kind word to a stressed colleague may inspire their confidence. A genuine smile to a stranger might shift the tone of their day. Teaching your children to listen, to care, and to respond thoughtfully may shape generations beyond you. Social intelligence makes you more than just a participant in conversations, it makes you a creator of impact. Now, here's the deeper truth: building a legacy doesn't happen by chance, it happens by practice. Start by asking yourself a question: what do I want to be remembered for in my relationships? Maybe it's compassion, maybe it's wisdom, maybe it's reliability. Once you define this, you can let it guide your daily actions. If you want to be remembered for empathy, practice listening without interrupting. If you want to be remembered for encouragement, make it a habit to highlight people's strengths. Small choices, repeated over time, build a powerful legacy. But here's where many people stumble. They underestimate the importance of consistency. Being kind once is good, but it's the steady, repeated patterns of behavior that truly leave an imprint. Think of social intelligence like planting seeds. One kind gesture may grow into a single flower. But watering those seeds every day, through consistent empathy, respect, and authentic presence, creates a thriving garden that others will always remember. There is also another layer: resilience in relationships. Legacy isn't about perfection. You will have conflicts, make mistakes, and misread people at times. What matters is how you repair those moments. Admitting when you're wrong, apologizing sincerely, and taking responsibility show tremendous social intelligence, and often strengthen relationships even more than if the conflict had never occurred. People will remember not your flaw, but your courage to make things right. Let's also consider influence. Legacy through social intelligence extends far beyond direct relationships. It can inspire cultures. In workplaces, emotionally intelligent leaders create environments where creativity, trust, and loyalty flourish. In communities, socially aware individuals become connectors, bringing people together across divides. In families, those who model empathy and understanding pass down values that shape how future generations treat others. Building your legacy starts with simple daily reflections. Who did I connect with today? How did I leave them feeling? Did I bring more light or more weight into their world? This kind of self-awareness fuels growth. It's not about guilt, but about intention. Social intelligence transforms ordinary interactions into extraordinary opportunities to leave behind something meaningful. So, what will your legacy be? Will you be remembered as someone who only spoke but never listened? Or as someone who created trust, built bridges, and made others feel valued? The choice lies in your awareness, your empathy, and your willingness to practice these skills each day. Remember, the art of reading and responding to people is not just about immediate benefits, better friendships, smoother conversations, successful negotiations. It's about creating a life story that people will want to retell, not because of what you achieved alone, but because of how you touched their lives. As this book draws to a close, let me leave you with a challenge. From this moment onward, treat every interaction as a chance to add a positive ripple to the world. Be intentional. Be present. Be kind. Because your words and actions today will outlast you tomorrow. Conclusion. Thank you for taking this journey through social intelligence, the art of reading and responding to people. I hope you've discovered not only strategies for improving your conversations but also a deeper understanding of the power you hold in shaping relationships and communities. Now it's your turn. Don't let these insights stay on the page, or in your ears. Put them into action. Start small. Notice the emotions behind people's words. Listen more than you speak. Respond with kindness instead of judgment. Watch the transformations unfold. If you found value in this audiobook, share it with someone who needs it. Discuss the ideas with friends, colleagues, or family. Social intelligence grows when we spread it. And remember, every choice you make in how you connect with others builds the story of your legacy. Make it a story worth telling.